This is our ultimate LinkedIn job scraping workflow where all you need to do is just enter the URL of the search query that we will get from LinkedIn. Let's take this example. We want to scrape all the SDR job roles that was in the past week in United States. So all you need to do is just enter the URL that you will get from LinkedIn and everything will be done on its own. So what will be done? First of all, we will enrich the person who has posted this job. We will find out about their company, about their email address. Then we will verify those email address because we don't want to hurt our email reliability by sending invalid or catch-all emails. After that, we will use OpenAI message model to come up with unique icebreakers that is hyper-personalized to that company or the website so that we are not sending one size fit for all email copies. Every single copy is personalized and relevant to that particular company. After that, we are going to automatically add them to a smart lead campaign. You can use instantly sales ND, whatever cold email sending tool that you are using. Same goes for our LinkedIn campaign. In this example, I am using Heyrich, but you can use LGM or La Growth Machine, whatever you like. And we will store all of this information in our Google Sheet. As you can see, it was able to find out the first name, last name, the title, who has posted that job, their email address, which company domain, and this icebreaker or first liner. Congrats on launching agentic AI, really impressive innovation in contract management. So this is just an icebreaker or the first liner that you can use in your LinkedIn message or in your cold email copy. After that, pitch your offer. This workflow is pretty useful. Let's say if you are staffing agency or your client is a staffing or hiring agency, you can sell them this workflow easily around for $1,000 or $2,000. It's totally up to you. As well as if you are looking or seeking for job opportunities and you want to apply to all of these jobs like instantly, you can use this type of workflows so that you don't have to manually sit and fill in all the application. The problem with LinkedIn job roles is there are so many people on LinkedIn and they instantly apply to this job. So as you can see, this job was just around 5 hours ago and already there are 20 applicants. But what we are doing is we are finding out the HR or CEO and we are reaching out to them personally so that we are not like following the crowd and we are not just going with the flow. We want to make the HR or we want to make the recruiting team feel that we have done the research about the company. That's why we have used this first liner. For example, congrats on launching agentic AI, so that the person receiving the email or LinkedIn message will find that, hey, this person actually wants this job or is seeking for this opportunity. So better to give him or her the chance rather than just this lazy 20 applicants who has used this easy apply button. Like you just simply click on it and it will apply. Awesome. I have named this workflow as LinkedIn job scraping since we are scraping the jobs from LinkedIn. But feel free to use different platforms like Indeed, Naukri.com, or whatever platform that you want to scrape jobs for, do it. Alright, so the first input will be the job search URL that you will get from LinkedIn. Yeah, again, that's the only thing that you need to do. Even you can automate this thing, but I just don't want to automate this thing because I want to apply the filters like from last month, last week. I want to apply the location as well as the keyword. So we are taking the keyword of SDR last week and location is USA. We have more than 1000 plus results. So you can easily scrape all of this result at fraction of the cost without breaking your bank by using Epify. So we are going to use Epify to scrape all of these jobs without putting your session cookie ID or without putting your LinkedIn account at risk. So Epify will scrape literally everything. For example, the title, the benefits, which company posted it, the company URL, which person posted it, their title, literally everything that is available in here, it will able to scrape and we will get that information so that we can repurpose it to write icebreakers. Next, we are applying a filter here, but you can remove this filter if you don't want. I have built this workflow for one of my client whose client is a hiring agency and their condition is they only want to reach out to those clients who has more than 200 plus employees, because if the company has more than 200 plus employees, the chance of hiring more is much higher than the company with having only 4 employees. I hope this makes sense. As well as you can remove this entire filter, it does not matter. Awesome. Now the next thing we need to consider here is we will get two options from Epify or from job scraping. We will have the title of the job person who has posted this job. We have used this keyword of SDR. So sales head or marketing head might have posted this or HR has posted this job on LinkedIn. So we will have two options. if that particular person has posted this job from the company or the company itself have posted that job. So as you can see, we will have two options. We will get the person name, their title, obviously the company name, etc. But sometimes we are not able to find out who has posted the job role. So we'll simply get the company name only. So what we want to do here is in the second flow, we want to find out the HR or C-level executives, whoever you want to reach out to. We want to scrape out their email address, their LinkedIn URL, and then we are going to use OpenAI to create icebreakers for us. After that, we will add these leads to our Google Sheet plus our cold email campaign, C stand for cold email, and our LinkedIn automation or LinkedIn campaign. So that will be the flow for this part if we are not able to find out the person who has posted this job. But if that information is available, for example, the person name, title, we can easily find out their email address since we have the LinkedIn URL from here. Obviously, we will have the LinkedIn URL of the person as well. And the rest is the same. We will go to OpenAI to create icebreakers or first liners, and then we will add these leads to our campaigns. Here, one another step we are doing is we are adding email verification so that we are not sending our emails to catch-all or invalid email addresses. We will do the same here as well. Email verification. I hope this makes sense. Since this is what we are going to build in this lecture, isn't it beautiful? You don't have to go to Epify to scrape these leads. You don't have to filter. You don't have to find the person's name, email address, company name, as well as bifurcate them into two different parts. Find the email address, write the icebreakers, as well as manually add them to your Google Sheet, your cold email campaigns, or LinkedIn. All of this thing will be done automatically. Alright, so let's get back to our N8N interface and we will start building everything from scratch. I will see you there. And I know this lecture might take long or it will be long obviously, but trust me, just watch through it. You will learn so many things, how you can add filters, if conditions, how you can clean up company names, how you can find email address using different data providers, how you can write icebreakers, the prompts, everything. Alright, so let's get back straight into it. The first node will be obviously a trigger node. So we are going to use a chat trigger. So basically all you need to do is just enter the URL that we will get or the search query that we will get from LinkedIn and you're good to go. But since we are testing this manually, I want to trigger this workflow manually. Yeah. Next, what we want to do is once we have that URL, we want to send that URL to Epify actors. And if you don't know what is Epify, Epify is the biggest collection of the scraping actors or the scraping tools. So if you go to Epify, yeah, and you can use 25 month end to get 25% off on any Epify plans. So if you go to Epify store and search for LinkedIn Job Scraper, yeah, so it is available right over here. So let's open this LinkedIn Job Scraper. Here you can see the pricing, $30 a month. I think it's pretty costly. So let's search for other options. LinkedIn Job Scraper. So let's use, I don't know, Curious Coder. Alright, as you can see, you can scrape 1000 results or 1000 posts at just only $1. It's basically for free. Alright, so if you look at JSON or if you go to endpoints, we will run the actor, we will wait for it to finish and we will get the data item back. So we will use this option. So click on view API reference and now you might ask how we are going to connect our Epify actor inside our N8N workflow by using HTTP request. Yeah. So as you can see, we need to fill out this URL, method, query, header, body, etc. So we are going to use this API documentation. Yeah, so even you can simply just go to curl code and copy this entire code. Click on import from curl code and it will fill out all of the important information that it needs. As you can see, within just a second, it will select the method, URL, the query, the headers, as well as the body. So all we need to do is we need to just add our API key of Epify. I have added my API key. You can use this API key as well until it is running. Next, we have body. So what we want to send in this HTTP request. Yeah, but one more thing is we need to add the actor ID. So this is the actor ID and then we have to replace the actor ID in the URL. Yeah, we have to add the actor ID here. Copy this actor ID, paste it here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, coming back to the body, what we want to send out. So if we click on JSON, this is the format of our JSON, which is count 10. It will return 10 LinkedIn job post, as well as the job search LinkedIn URL here. So just copy this format. Let's go to our N8N, and we cannot add this using field below. We want to use our JSON. Click on expression, paste this JSON code, and we need to replace the URL that we will get from LinkedIn. So this is the URL. Let's disable this. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I think we are pretty much good. So let's test this step and see if it is working or not. I think it will not work because the count is 10 and Epify actors does not work for only, yeah, you can see you cannot use this actor for scraping less than 100 records. So we need to increase the count to 100, and it will take some time because it is scraping everything. For example, the company details, as well as it is scraping till 100 companies. So wait for a minute or two and you will be fine. So we have the link of the job post, the title that they are going after, which is Director of Sales Development, company name, which is Handshake, company LinkedIn URL, company logo, company location, as well as all the salary infos. So it will literally scrape out everything that was available in that job search post, as well as the company address. So see, this is what I'm talking about, job poster name. So if we are not able to find the job poster name, we have to first of all enrich the entire company, find out the C-level executive or HR or marketing head, and then enrich their information. But here we can easily find out their email address since we have this person's URL. That's why it will be so much easier for us to find out the email address and reach out to them directly. Yeah, so what you can do is you can pin this data so that you don't have to run this actor again and again. So we are done with this two part. Next, you can also apply a filter if you want. In this example, I am applying a filter, but if you don't want, it's all right. So we will use filter. And what we want to filter is the company size, a number of employees they have. So if we scroll down, the company employment count, it should be it should be greater than 200. So if we test our workflow from 100 items, let's see. Only 60 companies have more than 200 plus employees. Yeah, so feel free to play around with this filter. Next, sometimes there are so many duplicate jobs. For example, if this company has posted the job for SDR, they are also going to post the same job, but they will just change the words slightly. For example, sales development rep or BDR or business development rep. But all of those jobs are like singular or they are just the same. So that's why we are going to use duplicate. It will remove all the duplicate jobs within this current input. So we want to select our selected fields and we want to field to compare with company LinkedIn URL so that it will automatically remove the duplicates of this job. So if we test our workflow again, and why we are removing this duplicate, because we don't want to burn our credits on email enrichment as well as our OpenAI credits. So by using remove duplicates, we are increasing our efficiency and minimizing our cost. And sometimes these company names are pretty weird. For example, Lead Gen Man Limited or Lead Gen Man Inc. So we don't want to use those type of company names in order to reach out to them in our cold email copies or LinkedIn messages. Otherwise, they will feel that it is being automated or done by AI and not by manual person. So what we will do is we will clean up the company names by using edit fields. Again, you don't have to pay a single penny to do it. Don't worry. So let's manual map this and we want to say the company name, the variable name. So if we just drag and drop it here, let us click on test tab. I just want to show you the demo. Click on all. You can see invoicecloud.inc, 10street.llc. So we want to clean up this type of company names because we don't have to pay a single penny, right? By using edit fields, we can do it very easily and for free. So this is the formula that I'm using. Again, this formula will be in the resource section, or this entire workflow will be in the resource section. So make sure to check it out. You don't have to write this on your own. What I'm doing is I'm just replacing this LLC, LTD, Groups Holding, International Solution Company Corporation, Enterprise Partners by space, empty space. So if you click on test step now, click on all, and boom, there we go. Invoice cloud, sweet and clean company name. Same goes for this 10th street. So we have removed the LLC, .inc, etc. etc. Alright, so we are done with the filter and all of these things. We will come to this part where if we are able to find out the person who has posted the job, or if we are not able to find out the person who has posted this job, we have to split the path of our workflow by using if condition. So scroll down, and if we are able to find out this job poster name, the person who has posted this job, if this exists, it will follow this path. And if we don't have the name of that person, it will follow this path. So first of all, let us configure the path of our first branch. We have their name and their LinkedIn URL. So we can easily find out their email address by using any data provider. In this example, I'm using Prospeo, but feel free to use Find Emails, or I don't know, whatever you want to use. For example, Lead Magic, do it. So let's open this. So I just want to show you example. Our job poster name is Amanda Walkers. Therefore, in Prospeo, we can easily check that. Paste the full name of our prospect and their company domain. If we go back, where is the company domain? Yeah, linksquare.com. Paste the company domain here and find email address. Awesome. So that's how you can easily find out their email address since we have their name and the company domain. The plus point of using Prospeo is you don't have to use any external email verification tool. It will show you the result of risky, valid, etc. etc. For example, this is risky, so we won't send them a cold DM. We will include them to our LinkedIn campaign, because if we send this email address and it might be catch-all or invalid, it will hurt our email readability as well as our cold email campaigns. So we will connect Prospeo to our N8N by using HTTP request. So we need to fill in all of these details. So let us go to documentation, click on accounts, go to API. This is your API key, copy this and go to documentation. So what we are doing is we want to find out the email address. So obviously email finder API, we will need this API. Alright, so we have the curl code. So you don't have to fill all of these things manually. You can simply just copy the entire curl code, paste it here, and it will fill out all of this thing on its own. The only thing we need to do is change our API key. After that, we want to fill in the first name, last name, and the company domain. Because as you can remember, we are filling the full name and the company domain. So if we scroll down, we have the company website or the domain here. Now for the first name and the last name, there is actually a problem. We have the full name. So what we will do is we will split the first name and the last name by using formulas. So click on type dot and use split function. So what we want to do is we want to split, click on space, and as you can see, it has converted into array. So index 0 and index 1. Because in array, it always starts with 0, the 0 element, which is the first name of our prospect. We will do the same for last name, but instead of 0, we will use 1 to get the last name. So this is how you can manipulate data by using formulas. So let's test this workflow for all the 5 prospects. So we have fall into result. Why? Because sometimes we are not able to find out their email address. So that's why no result. So what we want to do is we want to enable this, which is always show output data, and on error, just continue. Because otherwise it will stop the entire workflow and you have to figure out everything again. Awesome. We have the 5 results. Let's open it. So we are able to find out their email address and the email status, which is valid. Same goes for our second prospect. For our third prospect, it was not able to find out the email address, so no results. But it was able to find out for the fourth and the fifth. Yeah, that's pretty good. So what we can do is we can apply a filter that will only process those email address who has the status of valid. So it will automatically remove all of these errors. Click on plus and search for filters. We want the email status to be valid, then and then only it will pass those email address for rest of our workflow. Alright, I hope this makes sense. Again, don't get confused. It's nothing rocket science. we are just adding if conditions and these filters to make sure that there are no errors inside our workflow, and there is always a fallback step if we are not able to find out their email address. Awesome. So we are done with finding their email address. Next thing what we want to do is we want to go to their website and find out something unique about their website. So we will use OpenAI for that. But first of all, to analyze their website, we will need to have their web page data. Again, you don't have to pay a single penny. I'm going to show you a free method in order to do so. And after we have that web data, we will send that web data to OpenAI. So search for HTTP request and then simply add the URL or the domain of that company. So what this request will do is it will go to the website and copy all the code in HTML. So scroll down and just simply add the company domain here and click on test tab. Nothing else. Like it will get the entire web data in HTML format. Click on show data. So as you can see, this is in HTML format. So we need to convert it into Markdown format so that our OpenAI LLM can understand it better. Again, there is a free solution here. Search for Markdown. So as you can read, convert data between Markdown and HTML. So we want to convert from HTML to Markdown. Drag and drop the data here. Click on Test tab. So it will convert this entire HTML code into Markdown format. And Markdown format are those type of language that LLM understand much better even than HTML or simple query. Awesome. So what we will do is we will say, hey OpenAI or hey ChatGPT, you have this data, just analyze and find some icebreakers that I can use inside my cold email copies or my LinkedIn messages. Yeah, but the problem will be if there are, let's say, 50 items here, so it will perform all of these 50 items at once, and we don't want that. We want to have sort of loop where it will process for each company and create unique and individual icebreakers or first liners for that particular company. So we can easily we can easily add a loop here for batch size of 1. Let's delete all of this. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to loop this thing so that it will process only 1 item and not 2 items. So let us click on test workflow again. As you can see, it will only process 1 item at a time. And now once we have this markdown data, we want to send this message to our OpenAI. We can use this message a model. Let's select our model. You can use a pretty cheap model, for example, GPT-4 or Mini or 4.1 Mini. It will work just fine. But I'm using GPT 4.1. And in the prompt, feel free to iterate or feel free to change the prompt according to your use case. I'm using a very generic prompt here because the focus of this workflow is to show you how you can scrape job roles and not how you can write icebreakers or first liner. We have entire different lectures on it, so make sure to watch it. You are crafting very short, nature sounding compliments or congratulations for cold email outreach. Your priorities to look carefully for any recent events, award, achievement, milestone that they might have. Keep it under 15 words. Be specific and authentic. Sound nature and conversation, obviously. Yeah, so this will be the system field prompt. And we want to add this data. We want to say, hey, you have this data, analyze it from here. So we can say data. And for the role, we are sending this data. So it will obviously be user. And we are telling our LLM on how to behave in the system role. Let us click on Test tab. Congrats on launching Agentic AI. Looks like a big leap of contract management. So we can use these hyper-personalized relevant icebreakers via sending out our cold emails to that particular company. So that we are not just sending one side fit for all copy to everyone and our email service provider will consider as spammers. But if we hyper-personalize each email copy to each individual prospect, we will not fall into the category of spammers because we generally want to converge or we generally want to deal with that business. Yeah. And what we want to do is we want to add all of this information into our Google Sheet. So create a new Google Sheet, first name, last name, their email address, first liners. Let's color and apply bold to it. Yeah, so we are just simply adding these columns and we have to map these fields manually. So for the first name, last name, then for title, scroll down. You will get that from API file. Yeah, we have the title here. Then for email, that we just find from here, Prospeo. Scroll down and you will get the clean company name from here. Now for domain and for first liner from our OpenAI message model. After we have done adding leads to our Google Sheet, we want to add them to our cold email campaign and our LinkedIn campaigns. I have already covered that in one of our previous lectures, this ultimate lead gen workflow. So I'm not going to repeat again because again this lecture is about job scraping and not about how to add leads to your smart lead campaign or your LinkedIn campaigns. So I will just copy this. Yeah, this is the Hey Rich one. I will copy this and add them here. This is one for our smart lead. So you need to just add your campaign ID and your API key. Your API key in the query auth. Same goes for Hey Rich. Just enter your API key here and you're good to go. All of this lead will be added automatically into your campaigns. And once we are done with adding these leads, we want to loop back to our first loop. So this entire loop will process for first lead. Then once it is done, it will process for the second lead and so on. Yeah, so we are done with the first part. So if we go back, we are done with this part. Since it is so easy because we have the person name and their company domain or the LinkedIn URL. But now comes the complicated part of enriching the entire company, finding out the C-level executive or whatever job role that you are going after, then enriching that prospect by the LinkedIn URL and email address. Why we need the LinkedIn URL? In order to add them to our LinkedIn campaigns. Then this will be same. So we will just simply copy and paste our notes from here. But yeah, so what we want to do is, since we have 40 items, you can look at this. It is very important to find out about that person and reach out to them. Therefore, the data provider that we are going to use is an email finder. What it will do is it will go to the company, find out the job role that we are seeking for, and find out the email addresses. So search for an email finder. Again, none of these companies knows me or they are not paying me to say anything. But yeah, I really love this an email finder. So sign up or log in with your account and get your API key. So click on read API documentation. Here we have 4 options, right? Under find emails, we want to find out the person's email. We want to find all emails at the company, find decision makers email, or find email by LinkedIn URL. So as you can suggest, we are going to use this third option, which is find decision makers emails directly. You can use this same API key here, which is find person's email instead of using Prospeo. But I just want to show different options so that you can get familiarized with N8N interface or with API documentations. Yeah, so this will be the endpoint, the method is post, or we can simply just copy this curl code so that we don't have to configure everything on our own. Again, we are going to use HTTP request, import from curl, paste it here. We need to add our API key, and for domain, we will use the company website, and for decision makers, under parameters, we have decision makers, right? So if we type CEO, so it will search for owner, president, CEO, founder. If we type for HR, it will search for human resources. So let's use HR because our entire workflow is related about job. So who does the better job than HR? So what it will do is it will try to find from this company the HR role. But since we have 40 items, right? I don't want to burn my credits of any mail finder. So I just want to show you demo. That's why I will use 4 to 5, or we will limit only 4 to 5 prospects. Yeah, so everything is working great here in the first branch. So I will just disable this first branch. Yeah, here also we have to add a loop. Great, we have another error. Why? Because sometimes it is not able to find out the email address. Same error that we got in Prospeo, no result. So what we want to do is we want to always show the output and continues even if in the case of errors. Let us click on test workflow again. For some of those prospects, we are able to find out the email address, but these email addresses are not verified. Mind that So we will use external email verification tool to verify those emails and then only send to our cold email campaigns if those email addresses are valid and not catch-all or invalid. But first of all, we will also apply a loop here, because let's say you are scraping 1,000 job posts, it will hit API limit of an email finder. That's why we are adding a loop, so that it will only process one prospect at a time. We can also apply a wait condition. It will wait for 1 second before moving to the second prospect in the row. We want to remove all of those prospects that we are not able to find out their email address. So we can use the filter, or we can use, let's use switch, because I just want to show another example as well. So yeah, coming back to the point, you will able to find out the job title as well as the person's LinkedIn URL, so that we can use this type of data points inside our cold email copy. So search for switch. We are going to use switch instead of if condition or filters. Inside switch, we have to add routing rules. So we're going to use two routing rules. First, for if you're able to find out their email address, and second, for if you're not able to find out the email address. So click on add routing rules. So let's say if we are able to find out the email address, we want to move forward. So let's change the value to exist. And for another, which is error. Yeah, so if we get this type of error, we don't want to proceed forward. So if the status of the error is 404, we will not proceed further on. Next, we need to use external email verification tool. I'm using Reune email verification. So we will go to API integration, scroll down, and this is their documentation. So basically there are two modes, quick and power mode, but we are going to use the quick one for instant result. Yeah, so all you need to do is just add your API key here, inside key, and the email that we will get from an email finder. So let's view this key, copy this API key. Again, use your own API key and not my API key. And how we're going to connect our reunion email verification to our N8N by using HTTP request. Paste this URL and the method is get. This is N8N lead finder workflow that will help you to identify qualified leads from the subreddit that you are going after. In this example, I'm taking N8N subreddit and I'm telling my AI just go to N8N subreddit and find out potential leads who want my skill set of creating N8N workflows, and I can reach out to them further on. So it will scrape out all the posts from that subreddit of N8N or whatever use case that you're going after, and it will identify leads. Yes, it is true. Then it will identify the type of lead. This prospect needs use case inquiry and the priority attached to it. After that, it will also attach the reasoning. Reasoning basically means why our ChatGPT model thought so. And then post URL as well as resource link if any. So if you scroll down, you can see this is true lead and this prospect needs support request. The priority is medium. This is not a lead. Yes, this is lead, which is use case inquiry, etc. etc. So it won't just leave you with true and false, it will also identify the priority and the lead type. Yeah, again, you can do this for any use case. Let's say you run an cold email agency. So instead of using N8N subreddit, we will simply type cold email. and let's enter inside cold email subreddit. So you can simply just copy this URL. You can use this cold email subreddit to identify potential leads, those who want or those who are seeking any help with cold email, and you can pitch your offer there. As well as you can use this strategy to increase your karma point in your Reddit account. Yeah, so what our workflow will do is it will scrape out all the posts and categorize them, is this a lead or not. Yeah, again, if you are a, let's say, lead generation agency, Facebook marketing agency, ad agency, there is always subreddit for any of those. I can do the same for make.com. I can do the same for go high level. And as you might know, Reddit is a hidden goldmine of leads. It is much better than LinkedIn leads because the people who are using Reddit are much more active, they have more purchasing power, and they are kind of less pain in the AWS. Alright, so let's build this workflow from scratch and I will show you what we are doing in this workflow. Alright, I will see you in N8N interface. You can schedule this workflow to run at 9:30 a.m. every single day, but in this example, as we are testing, we want to trigger this workflow manually. Then the next thing will be, we want to connect our Reddit app inside our N8N workflow. So go to Google and search for Reddit API app and open the first URL. This is the URL, which is reddit.com/preference/apps. Now you need to create an app in order to connect with your N8N workflow. So let's create another app. I have already done it, as you can see here, but let's start from scratch. Let's name our app as whatever you like. And instead of using web app, go to script. And for redirect URL, use the URL of your self-hosted N8N account. In my example, which is this URL, so I will paste it here till here. Yeah, railway.app. Obviously, I'm not a robot, and let's create this app. Awesome. So N8N 2. Now this is our personal script and this is our client ID. So we will use this, both of them. And if you don't have a Reddit account, make sure you log in or sign up with your Reddit account. Get your username, which is this one. As you can see, this is my username. U basically means username slash, and this is your username. After that, you also need to know the password of your account, obviously. Therefore, we will use HTTP request in order to connect our Reddit app with our N8N workflow. Search for HTTP request. The method is post and the URL is this one. So what we are doing here is we want to generate an access token for our app. For authentication, let us use the generic one. All of this thing is being given in the documentation. I have read it so that you don't have to. But I'm not showing you the documentation process and finding each of these points because it will make this lecture unnecessarily lengthy. Alright, so coming back to our point, we want to select basic auth and let's connect our account. So in user, you have to use this personal script. So copy this script, paste it here. And for password, you need to enter this secret key. Copy this and paste it here. Further on, let's enable headers because we want to send our user agent. All of this thing is given in the documentation. I'm not making this out of thin air. All you need to do is just replace the username of your account here. In my example, which is aggressive olive, just replace your username account here. After that, we also need to add content type. So click on add parameters. Name is content type and for the value, which is form URL encoded. Now let's enable headers where we will input our password and username of Reddit account. Enable this send body and use the body type as JSON. The first parameter will be grant type, which is password, the username of your Reddit account, and the password that you have used in order to create the Reddit account. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now let's test step and see if we are able to generate the access token or not. Without this access token, we cannot do anything. That's why we are generating first access token by adding our username and password of Reddit. Click on test tab. So this is our access token. I know it is pretty big, but yeah, that's what we wanted. Let's pin this data so that we don't have to generate access token again and again. Next, we have multiple options to sort out post from our subreddit. For example, if we click on best, we can sort out by new, hot, etc. etc. So we will use two examples, which is first of all new post in this subreddit and second is hot 10 post in this subreddit. So we will use again HTTP request. This time the method will be get and this will be the URL, which is new post from our N8N subreddit. So let's open N8N subreddit. Yeah, this one. So if we click on new, it should be able to scrape out this last post, which was 3 hours ago. Now we need to add our credential of Reddit. So let us enable headers. We can say authorization in name, and for value we will say bearer space our access token. Awesome. And for body, you need to replace your Reddit name here. So let's click on test tab. Alright, here are the results. So this is the Reddit post. I have a requirement where I need an existing product for an e-commerce store. Yeah. So I think this is the last post. So if we scroll up, yeah, this is the one, which is 2 hours ago. I have a requirement where I need existing product for e-commerce store. Yeah. So it was able to scrape out the new post from that subreddit. Here, if you need to add, let's say, cold email, simply just replace N8N with lead generation cold email, whatever subreddit that you are targeting. So if you scroll down, it is the second post. TLDR, I am overthinking things as usual and trying to find the best way to host N8N. Yeah, this is the post. So what it will do is, as you can see, it is a lengthy output. It will scrape out the last new 25 posts from this subreddit. So what we want to do is we want to split out each post because there are 25 posts right now. So we want to split out each items. So as you can see, we have children number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 until 24. So we have 24 childrens starting from 0. So what we want to do is we want to split each item. Click on test tab. Awesome. So we have 25 items here. So if we go back, we only have 1 items. Everything is condensed. So what we did was we split out into 25 items. Let's spin both of this data. Now, as you might know, we cannot process this 25 data and feed it to our LLM, for example, OpenAI. We need to have a sort of loop where we are adding just one input or one item and we are looping the entire process. So we will use loop. Batch size is obviously 1. And what we want to do is we want to send this information, one item, to let's say our OpenAI message. And we can say, hey, just qualified this list based on this given criteria. So we can use this messenger model. Connect your credentials. Let's select our model. We can use mini one, GPT-4o mini. Yeah. For prompt, we can also input our target persona leads. So let's use ChatGPT or Claude to come up with this prompt. So we are only going after AI automation specialist, and we have this sort of skills for n8nmake.com Zapier. So we can copy this prompt. In my target persona, I am saying I am an AI automation specialist focused on building custom automation for businesses and individuals. And here are my core expertise. Next, we can say my ideal leads will be business owners, people seeking to automate data collection, etc. etc. And I provide the most value from project involving AI agents and workflow. Yeah, so I hope you got my point what we are doing here. So feel free to customize your ICP criteria in this target persona. Next, what we want to do is we want to feed in this information. For example, hey, this is the subreddit post, this is the subreddit author name, this is a URL, etc. etc. Therefore, we can say carefully review the details of the following Reddit post. We have added the post title, post body, author name, post URL, upvote ratio. Upvote ratio basically means is this post good or does it provide any value or not? Same goes for the number of comments. What we are trying to do here is we want to engage and find the qualified leads from the most number of comments and the most number of upvotes in any N8N community. For example, just 3 hours ago, it has more than 11 comments, right? As well as 6 upvote. So we can use this type of post, and this type of prospect are actually looking for help or seeking any assistance with our skill set. Yeah, so that's all for the user prompt. Now we can also give system field prompt. Under system field prompt, we can define our lead qualification examples. For example, is this lead or not true or false? Does this lead need any help with integration, APIs, building workflows from scratch, etc. etc. So again, I have used Claude in order to come up with our system field prompt. So we are saying you are elite lead qualification analyst. You have to identify the opportunity in support solution. Same goes for the engagement potential, which is need ASAP. So it will Identify the priority as high, medium or low. Are there any resource available in that post? For example, does that person edit any documentation, YouTube links? Yes, we will scrape all of this data and add them to our Google Sheet so that we can easily skim and scan under our sheets. And lastly, for classification output, lead classification, which is lead or not lead, lead type, priority, reasoning, and the resource link. So let's copy this prompt and paste it here. Click on expression. Alrighty, we can also give instruction to our OpenAI model A output in this format only. For instance, is this lead, lead type, priority, post body, reasoning, reasoning, resource link, author name, and the Reddit URL. So it will generate output in this specific format only. So let us enable this output content as JSON so that we can easily drag and drop this information into our Google Sheet. Awesome. Next, what we want to do is we want to add all of this information into our Google Sheet. So create a new Google Sheet with Reddit author or whatever data points that you want to add inside your Google Sheet. So what we are doing is we are adding or we are appending rows in our sheet. Select your Google Sheet account. So first of all, let's delete all of this row so that we have fresh Google Sheet. So for Reddit author, this is the author name. Thread body basically means post body. Then is this lead or not? Same goes for the lead type. Priorities, then reasoning. Same goes for resource link, post URL, and the post ID. So if we scroll down, we have a lot of information. So we are looking for this ID. Awesome. And we want to loop it back so that it will run continuously until all of these 25 items are done. There we go. Congratulations, you have built this Reddit lead generation or finder workflow. So let's test. Here we have the output. Our first recent Reddit post was about like daily or image editing. Since we have defined the ICP, we only work with CRM like Go High Level, HubSpot. It is defining this lead as false, not a lead. Same goes for the priority and the reasoning. Now for the second post, this is the lead. This is the type, which is support request. The priority is high, and this is the reasoning. Let's wait for the rest of the post. And for model, you can use 4o mini. It will work just fine. This is also a lead. This is the lead type, which is support request. So I hope you got my point. You can use this workflow in order to identify qualified leads from a subreddit that you are going after. Same goes for our sixth post. And you don't have to create different workflows for different subreddit. All you need to do is, for example, let's say you want to scrape out leads from lead generation subreddit, cold email subreddit, Facebook ad subreddit. Just copy this, paste it here, drag the node here, and simply change from N8N to cold email, whatever you like. And you can scale this as many times as you want. I hope this makes sense, like what we are doing. So it is running. In our Google Sheet, there are so many potential leads. So I can reach out to them and say, hey, I can help you with this. This is my pricing, etc., etc. Or even for free. You can increase your karma points by this way. Because karma points matter a lot. So I just created this account. That's why like my karma point is 1. So I hope you got my point what we are trying to achieve here. You can do the same for the top 10 posts in that subreddit. So I will show you. So we will stop the workflow. Let's delete all of this. So instead of new post, we can say hot post, and we don't want 25 posts. We only want, let's say, 10 posts. So we will apply a limit. You can do the same for new post as well, only limiting to 10 posts. And let's test step. So now you will have the hottest post in that subreddit. So if we do this, it will split out into 10 different or 11 different items. So I hope you got my point what we are doing. Just change the filter of whatever you like. So I'm keeping it new post. That's all from my side. If you have any question, do let me know. My DMs are always open. So I think this workflow will be very useful if you want to be industry leader or thought leader in your space. That's all from my side. And again, this workflow will be in the research section. So make sure to check it out. Bye bye, take care, and I will see you in the next one. This N8N workflow will identify anonymous visitors visiting your website without dropping any contact information. But still, we will be able to find out their email address, where they are working from, where they are based from, literally everything. So to show you the flow of our workflow, let us go back to our whiteboard. As you can see, inbound-led outbound system, and this term is been coined by Adam Robinson, the founder of RB2B. First of all, your question might be how we are able to detect the anonymous website visitors visiting your website. So imagine you have a website, right? So this is your website, but you want to find out those anonymous visitors. Therefore, by using RB2B, we are able to find out their LinkedIn, which company they are working for, their title, and their name. You won't be able to find out their email if you're using free plan of RB2B, but don't worry, you don't need to purchase any pro plan of RB2B. In this lecture, I'm going to show you by using this workflow, you can literally find out everything about that prospect. Yeah, so coming back to the point, we will send this data to Clay to hyper-personalize our email copies. But as you might know, Clay is very expensive and it is not for everyone. I don't know even enterprise companies can afford Clay. That's why we are switching back to our N8N. Again, whatever you will get in the Clay table, whatever the response or the output you will get even better output inside N8N at 1/10 of the price. That's why this lecture is also another Clay killer lecture. Awesome, so we will import this data that we will get from RB2B inside our Slack channel to N8N. After that, we will enrich that prospect, for example, their name, title, LinkedIn URL, work email, and we will use AI agent to hyper-personalize our email copies. After that, we will automatically add them to our outreach campaign. For example, our email campaign, or if you want to add them to a LinkedIn account, you can do that as well. So that's the flow of our entire workflow. But first of all, I want to show you how you can connect RB2B with your website. The first thing we will do is connect RB2B with our website. Second thing we will do is we need to connect our Slack trigger or our Slack app with our N8N. And third thing will be we will build this rest of our workflow inside N8N. So that's 3 steps that we are going to do in this lecture. I hope you are excited and I will see you in RB2B side. Let me show you how you can set this up. To be honest, it is free if you are using for pulling LinkedIn only. If you want to find out email addresses, let us go to pricing first. Yeah. In free, you won't be able to get the email addresses, but as of now, we will use free. Let us use our work email. I'm using this website example. Which apps do you want to use? We want to use for Clay, and you can use other softwares as per your preference. Let us integrate with Slack. Click on allow and choose your channel. We have to install our script. So we will add our domain name here. Click on next. You can add this by using Google Tag Manager or even by embedding our custom HTML code. Let us view this. Let us copy this code and let us go back to our website. Whatever software that you have used to create your website, for example, WordPress, Webflow, Go High Level Framer, all you need to do is copy this code. In our example, we have used Go High Level. Click on settings and then add HTML code here. We have to add the code in head tracking code. As it is mentioned, add the code in the header of your website. And let us test our script. Yeah, script verified. Awesome guys, you just did it. You have installed anonymous visitor identification on your website. Now next thing is click on next. Awesome, we have our LinkedIn legend here saying congratulations, you are done. So let us go to dashboard. Right now no one is viewing our website from USA, that's why we won't have any new user, but I will show you a test or demo. click on integrations. Let us go to Slack integration first and then we will use Clay. Let's open Slack. Alright, it might be here. So we have selected the channel General, as you might seen here, connected channel. Awesome. Hey there, it's Adam from RB2B. Click on next. Awesome, our Slack integration is also done, and this type of message you will get, which is their LinkedIn URL, their name, their title, which company they belong to, and how many employees are there, our prospects ARR or annual recurring revenue, and number of customers. It is pretty cool, right? Now let me show you how you can connect this data or send all of this information to Clay so that you can further enrich your leads and use AI to hyper-personalize your message or copy to reach out at the right moment. So let us go to our channel. Yeah, so as you can see, when someone visits, this is a real prospect. Emma Malik, the title, company, which company they belong to, their email address, the LinkedIn URL, and their location. You can also connect on LinkedIn with them, the industry, the estimated employee count, the estimated revenue, everything. Like, it is insane. Let us go to Gabriel Phillips, case manager. Let us open the LinkedIn URL to see if it is true or not. Yeah, Gabriel Phillips, case manager at San Francisco Bay Area. After connecting our B2B with a website and inside our Slack, it's time to connect Slack inside our N8N. So obviously the trigger will be Slack. Once someone visits a website and RB2 will send us a message inside Slack, we want to trigger this workflow. That's why the trigger node will be Slack. And on message posted to the channel. On new message posted to the channel. Awesome. So to be honest, like, Slack configuration is quite hard. It's not that hard, but it's like we have to do a lot of things. So I will start everything from scratch. So let's remove this because I have already connected my Slack account. Let's remove all of this. Yeah. So once you open the Slack trigger, you will show two URLs, which is test URL and production URL. So whenever you are testing this workflow, you can use this test one. But once you click on this active, it will be in production URL. So make sure that you are using these production URLs inside your Slack. Alright, so to connect our Slack credentials, let us click on new credentials and let us first of all open documents. Yeah, so in order to create our Slack inside our N8N, we will need to use both of these, which is Slack and Slack Trigger. So scroll down. First of all, to configure this credential, you will need a Slack account. So make sure you create a Slack account and then open Slack API app page. So click on it. Make sure you are here, which is api.slack.com/apps. And now let us create new app. I have already did that, but forgot about everything. I want to start everything from scratch. So let's create new app and let's name our app as RB2BX N8N. And let us select the workspace. So make sure you create a workspace. I have created this workspace of Cold Email Masterclass. So in order to create new workspace, just go to Files, Workspace, and create new workspace. And now inside workspace, create any random channel that you like. For example, I'm using this demo test. So let's go back and let's select a workspace to deploy our app. So my workspace is Cold Email Masterclass, which is this one, Cold Email Masterclass. So let us create app. And you will see a lot of things here like app tokens, bot tokens, but don't worry, it is very easy. We will follow the documentation. So let us go back to documentation. Then it is telling us to create new app from scratch. We did that. We enter the app name, we select a workspace, and we have created our app. Now in the left menus under feature, we have to go to auth and permission. Under features, go to auth and permission. Then it is telling inside scopes section, select appropriate scopes for your app. So scroll down and we have to use inside bot token scope. So let's add a scope. Yeah, so I'm using these 5 scopes. I think we are pretty good. So let us go to documentation. After we have added our scope, which we just did, go up to auth token and select install to workspace. So let's go up. Inside OAuth token, let us install to our cold email masterclass. And then let us select a channel. This time I'm using this email reply. Click on allow. So let's go back to our Slack channel. I have used email reply. So as you can see, at 2 AM and 7 minutes, I just added our integration of RB2B/. You should receive this message inside your Slack. That means that our OAuth token is successfully installed inside our cold email masterclass workspace. And we allowed the workspace installation. Then the 10th step is copy the bot user token and enter access in your N8N credential. So we need to copy this token and let us go to N8N. We need to paste it here. Click on save. Awesome. So it should show this connection tested successfully and it should be green. That means that our Slack and our N8N credential are successfully connected. After that, we also need to allow the Slack trigger configuration. So we need to go to features and event subscription. So where is event subscription? Just below permission. We need to enable this and we need to add the request URL here. In N8N, copy the webhook URL and enter it in the request URL in your Slack app. So which webhook URL it is asking for? The one in the test. This is the one, webhook URL, and use the test one. Copy this, paste it here, and it should, so right now your test URL responded is an error. Why it is an error? Because we haven't triggered our Slack node. So click on listen for event and now click on retry. Awesome. So it is verified successfully. That's what we wanted. Last step we need to do is, once verified, select the bot events to subscribe to and use the trigger field. So we want to subscribe to bot events and we want to add the event once a new message is inside our Slack channel. So search for message and scroll down. We can use this. Message was posted to a channel. Awesome. Last thing we need to do is enable this user action also. Search for message. We will use the same, which is a new message was posted by user, which means us. Click on save changes. And we need to reinstall the app in order to update our workspace. So let's select email reply and click on allow. Awesome, it is successful. So let us go back to our RB2B, connect with your Slack account, and let's select trigger on all events or any events. And let us select our channel, which is email reply. Now let us click on test tab. We can send a message, hi. If we click on JSON, you can see the text was here. So that's what we needed. Now our Slack channel is connected inside our N8N workflow. And once we get a notification from RB2B inside our Slack channel, it will trigger this workflow instantly. Click on save. Awesome. So we are done with the two steps. First, which is connecting RB2B with our website, and second, which is connecting Slack inside our N8N. I know both of these steps were kind of technical, but now the road is downhill. Alright, so let us get started. So we can use an example here or a test trigger because we don't want to wait right now for anyone to visit our website and RB2B to send our message. So we will manually add the message here. You will get message something like this from RB2B, which is the name, title, company email, and the LinkedIn URL. But we cannot trust this email. A lot of times it is not valid or invalid. So let me show you. So let us go to this email verification. Let us enter the email, click on verified. And it is invalid. The one that we got from RB2B. That's why we cannot trust it. So we will use our own email enrichment tool, as well as we will verify that by using this email verification. Alright, so let us send this message. Let us go back to our Slack. Let us go back to our N8N. Awesome. So we have our tags here. That's what we needed. Now we will use our email verification tool. In this example, I'm using Drop Contact, but you can use Prospeo, Find Email, Lead Magic, whatever email data provider that you want to use, feel free to use it. We will use Find B2B email. So let's go to Drop Contact. log in or sign up with your account. This is the dashboard of Drop Contact. Go to integration and API key. Copy your API key here. Let us go back to N8N. Paste your API key here. That's it. And now let us add the additional field that we have got from our B2B. For example, their company name, their first name, last name, their full name, their LinkedIn profile, and their country. Yeah, so I think these 6 data points are good to go. But the problem we will face is we cannot drag and drop this individual field. For example, company name or full name, last name, etc. etc. So we will use a code node which is for free. So what it will do is it will segment each fields individually. So let us delete this. Let us search for code node. So get ready to write JavaScript code. You have to go to 100-hour plus course to learn first of all JavaScript and then come back here. Just kidding. We will use ChatGPT or we can use Perplexity, Anthropic, Claude, whatever LLM models that you like to come up with this code. So I'm using Claude. So first of all, what you need to do is just do one thing. Connect 3 of this node. Copy this. Click on copy 3 this node and paste that inside your Claude. So it will look something like this. Awesome. Next we can say we are getting this information from our Slack channel, but the problem will be I cannot map these fields individually very easily inside Drop Contact. So use code node to come up with JavaScript code so that we can easily extract the mappable fields and we can easily map those inside our Drop Contact and give it a go. Awesome. Within just a second it has given us the JavaScript code. So let us copy this. Let us open our code node. Let us remove all of this. Paste the code. Let us click on test tab. And yeah, it did work pretty well. First name, last name, LinkedIn, their email address and the country URL. Everything it has segmented into individual fields. So as you can see, we can now easily map and drop here. Their company name. Awesome. So we have added this data and now let us click on test tab and Drop Contact will find out the contact information if any. Awesome. So here is the output: number of employees, company LinkedIn URL, their country, their website, etc. etc. But one major problem is we are not able to find out their email address. And it's okay, sometimes it might happen. So we cannot add them to our cold email campaign, but we can add them to our LinkedIn campaign. So we can use to branch or a if condition. If email exists, then and then only add them to our email campaign. But if email does not exist, then add them to our LinkedIn campaign. So let us add if node. If the email exists, so if this condition is true, which means that we are able to find out their email, we will add them to our email campaign. But if we are not able to find out their email, we will add them to our LinkedIn campaign. That's it, nothing too crazy. But what we can do is we can add some personalization according to our prospects, company, location, number of employees, etc. etc. So we are going to use AI agent for that. Let us define the prompt below. So what will be the user message prompt? What will be the system message prompt? I will show you how you can create those prompts from scratch for free and you can test it out with the prompt as many times as you want. This happens a lot of time in YouTube videos. All the YouTubers will come up with a lengthy prompt, but they will never tell you how they have actually written those prompts by using Playground. So if we search for Playground, OpenAI Platform Playground, log in or sign up with your account, and this is the dashboard. So first of all, let me show you different options and feature here. The first thing first, we can add the model that we are going to use inside our AI agent in N8N. So let us use OpenAI and we can use this ChatGPT 4o Mini. So you can actually test this ChatGPT 4o Mini here. And the beautiful thing here is you can reiterate on your prompt for free as many times as you want. But you cannot do the same inside N8N. It will cost you some credits of your GPT 4o Mini. So that's why Playground is the best place to come up with your prompt from scratch. So this is the system message. So if we go back to our AI agent, so this is the system message that we are going to add from the Playground. Then this is our user prompt that we will define. Here you can see this is the user message prompt that we will use here. Now first of all, we need to create or we need to come up with a system message. Again, we are not going to do that by our own. We are going to use Claude for that. So let's take screenshot of this Playground and feed it inside Claude or ChatGPT. and say come up with the email system field prompt for playground. So it will come up with a system message. You are expert sales copywriter for personalized emails. And these are some key points. For instance, I want to add Manthan, founder of Lead Gen Man. I want to keep the email very short, which is 1 to 2 sentences only. So this will be our system message. So copy this and we can paste it here. Again, you can change or reiterate as many times as you want. It is just a first draft or initial step. And for user message, we are saying create a personalized email for our prospect. So it is our prospect information, and what we want to do is they have visited our website but hasn't converted to a client, and the product or service that we are offering is lead generation and sales automation services. So we are telling our AI model make it hyper personalization to a specific person and with their company situation. For example, I want them to think, wow, this person has actually did the research about me and my company. So let's copy this, let's paste it here, and let us change all of these variables. So I'm using this example of adrenaline, their company, their role, their size, their location, and what we want to do. So let us click on send and let's see what our AI model comes up. So this is the assistant response. We have the subject line, notice your visit, the first name of our prospect. Let's evaluate Secure Frame growth. Secure Frame is the company name, and this is the email copy. I think it is not that good, so we will reiterate our email copy. We can say subject line should be very short with the prospect name only, or prospect's company, that's it. And the CTA or call to action shouldn't be that too hard. For example, quick chat, we don't want to do that. We can say, let me know how I can help you with your company. Yeah, I think the email copy is pretty good, but we have some problem with the subject line. So we can say, sound like a helpful human, not a marketing bot. For example, no one use boost word in normal communication. Then we have added the first name of our prospect. Notice you visited our site. Exciting thing happenings at Secure Frame. Let me know how I can help you enhance your lead generation strategy. And we don't want to add this, so we can say remove this. And it is adding our signature, which is my name and my title and my company. I notice you check our site. Hope all is well at Secure Frame. If you are looking to improve your lead generation, let me know how I can help you. This is the perfect copy. But I think we can add some personalization for the company. So I don't want to say hope all is well at Secure Frame. We can say add company location or number of employees working at Secure Frame. So if we scroll up, we have the company size here. To hyper personalize the copy. Yeah, actually we forgot to say don't add something like hope all is well. Obviously everything is well. Don't mess up with the email copy. Awesome. So we have amazing subject line and the email copy, but feel free to improve your email copy as per your use case. You can write way better copy than this, but to save some time, I'm using this copy as a template. So what we will do is we need to write this user message prompt, right? So we will tell AI to come up with the user message from this copy. We will say, perfect, now give me the user message prompt based on our final copy above. So it will create a user message for us, create a personalized email and with the guidelines. Next, we want all of this information to be variable because it will be changing for each prospect. So we can say replace this with a variable so that I can easily them directly inside my N8N workflow. So it will come up with a variable user message. So let's copy this. Let us go back to N8N. Click on expiration. Let us open this and paste it here. Awesome. So it will look something like this. Write a personalized email for our prospect, their company, number of employees and their location. And this is the guideline, as well as we are giving them an example. Now talking about the system message, we will copy the system message and paste it here. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now click on test tab. Emma, quick note about Target Opticals. This will be the subject line. Hi Emma, it is adding all the personalization and everything is working fine. Awesome. But now let us use another example. This time we were using Anna Malik, but we were not able to find out her email address. So what we can do is we can use another example. See, we don't have any email address here, right? So let's send this. Let us unpin this data first of all. Click on save and let us test our workflow. Awesome. So now it's inside our drop contact node. So it will find out the email address if our prospect has the email address. But yeah, as you can see, the code node is working perfectly. So let's wait for the drop contact. Yeah, but we can finish the rest of our workflow, which is if we are not able to find out their email address, we want to add them to our LinkedIn campaign. We are using Herish for our LinkedIn campaign, but you can use LGM or Lagrowth machine, whatever you like. Yeah, so it has successfully ran. This will be the output. And this time, we are able to find out their email address. And we also want to check that if email address is valid or not. But yeah, coming back to our LinkedIn campaign, just go to Herish, add your API key here. This all is in the documentation, and this will be your campaign ID and your LinkedIn account ID. After that, all you need to do is just add the reference node here. So let's connect with the false. Let's click on expand. Here you can see we are adding this variable inside our Herish campaign, which is their first name, last name, location, company name, and in about we are adding this node from AI agent and the output. So we want to add this as a first liner or icebreaker, and then the LinkedIn URL. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And now talking about the email campaign. So if email exists, we want to first of all check that with our API key of email verification. So we are going to use HTTP request in order to call this API key. So go to API and integration, scroll down, and for single email verification, we can use this quick mode. So the method is get, and this is the URL. Copy this URL. Method is get, paste the URL here, and we need to enter the key here. Click on view, copy your API key, and feel free to use whatever email verification you want to use. For example, Million Verifier, because there are a lot of tools available right now, but I am using Reunion email verification. Let us click on expression, and here we have to add the email. So just drag and drop the email here. After this verification, we can get two outputs. First is if this email is valid. Second is if this email is not valid. If it is not valid, we don't want to send our email and lower our deliverability. So what we can do is we can introduce a if node, where we can say if the status of this verification is valid, then we want to send out the mail instantly by Gmail. Send a message, and we will add the email here as well as our email copy. But if this email is not valid, we do want to add them to our LinkedIn campaign. Alright, so this is how you can use this fallback strategy of adding them to our LinkedIn campaign if their email is not valid. I hope this makes sense. Again, it is nothing too crazy. It is just two if nodes. The first if node is talking about if we are able to find out their email address or not. And this second if node is about if the email status is valid or not. So now let us click on test workflow to see how this workflow goes. Alright, so as it was able to find out the email address, it has followed the path of this if node. And let's open the status. Yeah, the status is valid or true. So that's why it will pass this if filter as well. So we can just drag and drop the email here. And for subject line, we have to actually split subject line and the email copy differently. So we can use a code node. So let's introduce a code node. Again, you don't have to write this code on your own. We will use Claude for it. Awesome. So just copy the output and say split this into subject line and the email copy by using JavaScript code inside N8N. This time I'm using Perplexity to show you different option. You can use ChatGPT as well. Now let us copy this code. Let us go back to RB2B. Let us clear all of this, paste the code here and click on test tab. So it has split out the subject line and the email body. Now we can use this here. Click on schema, scroll down, drag and drop the subject line here. Same goes for the body. Alright, so this is our inbound led outbound workflow. Again, first of all, what we have done is we have connected our B2B to our website. Then we have connected Slack credential inside our N8N. And lastly, we have built this amazing workflow where it will find out the email address, write hyper-personalized copies for our individual or our prospect. And if it is not able to find the email address, it will add them to LinkedIn campaign. But if it is able to find out their email address, and if the email address is valid, we will send these hyper-personalized copies instantly once they have left our website. So that's how you can maximize your chance of conversion, because they already know who you are, what you do, or what are your offers or servicing, but they haven't converted into paid clients. So that's why using this type of hyper-personalization and relevancy can maximize your chance of highest conversion. That's all from my side. If you have any question during this entire lecture, do let me know. I'm always happy to help. Bye bye, take care, and I will see you in the next one.